Hi, and welcome to another lesson with Everyday English with Amanda. Today, our topic is about going to the doctor, seeing the doctor, some of the vocabulary you would hear in a medical center, in a doctor clinic, and some of them you would hear in a hospital. So, let's start. Medical vocabularies. Medical vocabularies are words that usually are used in a doctor's office or in a clinic or in a medical center. So if you are sick, you are the patient. You are the patient, you go to see a doctor. We have two kinds of doctor. We have GP, which is a general practitioner, and we have a specialist. Specialists are doctors who are specialized in certain medicine. Let's say, for example, an eye doctor, a bone doctor, a heart doctor. This is what we call a specialist. And of course, they have other names in English, but you don't have to worry about it now. All you have to think about is the word specialist. So, I'm not feeling well, I'm going to see a doctor. When you see a doctor, you are referred to a specialist if you are feeling really, really sick or if you have some real problems. Where do the doctors and specialists practice? In medical center, it's the place where you would go and see a doctor. We call it medical center, we call it clinic, we call it doctor's office. It depends. Emergency, if something suddenly happens to you and you have to see a doctor immediately. So it's an emergency case. Usually in an emergency case, you would call an ambulance, okay, to come and take you to the hospital. The word symptoms. So, I'll give you an example. If I have the flu, I would have fever. That means my temperature is high. I'll probably cough. So these are called symptoms. You go to a doctor to have a checkup, to tell him what's wrong with you. Okay, so when you get there, you will get a checkup. When you go to a doctor's office or clinic or medical center, the first thing they usually do is take your temperature. If it's high, if it's low, they always need to check that. And take your blood pressure. Okay? Before you go and see a doctor, you always have to make an appointment. So you are the patient. You make an appointment to go see the doctor. You tell the doctor about your symptoms. The doctor will do a checkup. They will take your temperature and take your blood pressure. Operation is a surgery, and it's usually done in hospitals. Some surgeries, some operation are called day surgery. That means you go in at the same day, you have what's required, and then you can go back home at the same day. It's called day surgery. Where do you get your medication from? From the pharmacy or chemist. You can't go there and ask for any medication. Some of them you can get over the counter. You can just go in, for example, if you want to get Panadol. But other medication, you need to have a prescription. A prescription is what the doctor writes, and he usually writes the name of the medication on these papers. You have your health record, which is kept in the doctor's office. It's your medical history. Sometimes the doctor will ask you to do a blood test. If it's an emergency, they would call the ambulance to take you to the hospital, where you will be examined by a doctor and looked after by nurses. So operation, day surgery, pharmacy or chemist, prescription, health record, blood test, ambulance, nurse, and hospital. Why do we go see doctors? When we have pain, when something is hurting us. Pain, ache, or hurt. So you are, for example, in the kitchen and you're cutting something and you hurt yourself. Okay, so you need to go and see a doctor. With aches, you have a toothache, a stomach ache. The doctor will examine you. Okay, they will examine you. They will do a checkup and examine you. Then the doctor might diagnose the problem. Diagnosis means what the doctor or what does your doctor think you might have. Sometimes, you are required to get an injection or a shot. Okay, it depends on your medical condition. Some of the pain or some of the aches you might have is like a headache, a stomach ache. You could be feverish, you have fever. You might have the flu. And sometimes you tell the doctor, I have a sore throat. So pain, ache, hurt, exam, diagnosis, shot or injection, medical condition, headache, stomach ache, fever, flu, and sore throat. You could have a disease or an illness. Sometimes you might feel dizzy, okay, where your head's spinning. You need medicine to get better. Or you could have an infection. If you fall and break your arm or your leg, you could have bone fracture. Sometimes you might feel nausea, where you feel like you want to throw up. Some people don't go to doctors, they just go to the pharmacy and ask for over-the-counter medication, for example, Panadol or Strepsils. Of course, nowadays with COVID, everybody needs to get vaccinated. Okay, so vaccine is the shot that you take against certain diseases. So we already learned the vocabulary. Now, if we want to book for an appointment, how would we book for an appointment? I need to make an appointment, or I need to make an appointment for my daughter, son, mother, father. Or you can say, I would like to see a doctor. Then you want to know when the doctor's free. When is the doctor free, or when is the doctor available? Sometimes you don't need to see the doctor, but you want your prescription to be renewed. Because some medication you have to take it all your life or for a certain period of time. So you can say, I need to get or renew my prescription. Is the doctor able to see me today? Medical receptionist. So once you get there, you booked your appointment on the phone and you go into the medical center. Okay, or when you are calling, she might ask you this as well. When would be a good time for you? What day is good for you? She will always remind you to bring in your Medicare card with you. She might say, is the 10th of August good for you? Or she might give you a certain date. If you say, no, I prefer the 11th, she might say, sorry, the doctor can't see you today, but we will call you if there is a cancellation. If somebody doesn't show up or somebody calls and say they cancel their appointment, you go there and you're waiting for the doctor and the doctor's running late. So the receptionist might say, we are running late on schedule. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for staying. Also nowadays, they might ask you before you go in and see the doctor, do you have any COVID symptoms? Which is fever, sore throat. Can you tell me your name, please? She might want to know if you've been there before, or is it your first time? This is an example of a medical form that you need to fill if it's your first time to go and see a doctor. Of course, your family name, your given name, your date of birth, your occupation, what's your job, where do you live, your contact details, mobile number, work number. Next of kin, in case of an emergency, who would they call? Your husband, your mother, your friend, so you need to have a detail of that person. Your Medicare card number or any card, it depends on the country you live in, that identifies you. Or if you have a healthcare card, this is an Australian application form. So you would see this if you're living in Australia. If you're on any current medication or you're taking any vitamins, Do you have any allergies? Are you sensitive to drugs or dressing? Certain type of allergies could be food allergy. Family history, if there was any diseases in your family, for example diabetes or sugar level. Asthma is to do with your chest, heart disease or cancer. And of course your signature and your name. So you go in and see a doctor now. The doctor will ask you, how can I help you? How are you feeling? What can I do for you? These are some of the symptoms that a patient might, or you might say, I don't feel well. I feel tired, feel weak, I feel dizzy, I feel nauseous. I feel tired, I feel weak. But I have a headache, I have a sore throat, I have a backache, or have a stomach ache. When you see this, the pronunciation is ache. Stomach ache, toothache, backache. I'm coughing, sneezing, I have a fever, I have been vomiting, that means throwing up. The doctor might say, let's check your blood pressure and take your temperature. What the doctor might ask you, when did the symptoms start? When did you start feeling dizzy, for example? How long have you been feeling this way? Do you have family history of any health issues? Are you taking any medication at the moment? Have you been vaccinated? Have you had COVID-19 vaccination? Let's examine you. Some of the treatment vocabulary that you would hear. Medication. The doctor might say, I'll prescribe you a medication. Tablets or pill, you should take 2 tablets a day. Sometimes if you're coughing, they might prescribe a syrup or liquid, take 5 ml twice a day. Injection, the nurse will give you the injection now. Ointment is like a cream. You can apply it to the affected area. For example, if your hand is burnt, you can apply ointment. Dose, how much you need to take. Side effects, and sometimes they tell you really need to look after your diet or after your health by changing your diet, lifestyle changes like exercise or dieting. Once you see the doctor, you got your prescription. Okay, sometimes you might need to do a follow-up appointment. So you can say, can I make a follow-up appointment, please? Then you can give them a certain day or time. How about next Monday at 3 p.m.? And then some people, if they're new to the area, they could ask where is the nearest chemist or where is the nearest pharmacy. I hope you enjoyed the lesson today and it wasn't too long. Until next time, please like, subscribe and write any comments. Thank you.